Okay. So that's going. What else do we need? I think we're good. Just make sure. And ads. All right. Well, that's going. Cool. All right. All right, let's get the Twitters going. The tweeting. Does this go where I think it goes? All right, this is totally off screen. Sorry. The answer is yes. Yes, that does do what I think it does. Okay. Hold on one sec. Just making sure everything's set up right. Loading. Loading. Okay. I think we're good. All right, so that's out. Let's go. So what we need to do is we need to make this button do things. So player needs to come up, press that, not die. Classic. So that's what we're working on. Here's what we have right now. Once Unity figures out what it's doing. All right. So you play most of a day, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sun comes up, sun comes down. Can't explain that. Clock, sun, bloom, lots of bloom, more bloom, and some extra bloom for fun. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, can't think of anything else. Play around, screw shit up. Oh yeah, bloom. Forgot that. So, the way the game is going to work is there's going to be radiation, pretty much. That's what's blowing everything up. Sun, yeah. You get that. Ever been out in the sun? Sunburn. Yeah. So, how this is going to work, the button's going to release all that radiation that the building is stored up. And so if you don't press that, you die. but also if you stay out in the sun, you die. So you need to find a way to press this over and over again throughout the day without burning up in the sun. Pretty straightforward. So that's sort of where we're at right now. You burn up, but I don't kill you. And you can't release the radiation yet. So there's two things to do. We need to kill the player, and we need to blow up everything. Both of those sound really fun, so we're going to do both of those. I'll fix the stairs quick so they aren't as bumpy, and Unity will lag a bunch. One thing, all those red dots are our light detectors. They're what actually detect the sunlight and break stuff. So that's what those are doing. Red means they don't see any sunlight. Yeah. So back to this. I've set up a bunch of interactable trigger things. That's what this object is down here. So this is going to be interactable with the player. Well, not yet, but that's the plan. So let's make this something so that the player can press it. Button. Sure. It's a game jam. Good names don't count, right? So, for the button, I think we'll leave that there actually. I need to split this off first. There's another interactable object, the windows. Those blow open if they stay in the sun too long, but you can close them again. That's the only interaction we have right now. So we need to make that, we need to extract this bit off into a base class so that both of them are interactable. Then we can use that so that our interactor or hand or whatever we're calling it can actually detect this stuff. All right. So there's that. Make you, I don't think it's gonna like this. It does not. So what's going on? Can't be private. Oh, okay. Sorry. Public. There. So there's that base stuff. So base interactable. Let's make you window. Inherit from that. Right. We want this to override the base class, otherwise we'll have two of those methods hanging around. Don't want that. And then let's jump over to the, oops. Let's get lost. Jump over to the button. Make that interactable as well. And override the interact. We want to just, for now, let's just log a really quick message. So there's that. Unity does not like all these objects. All right. You interactor, we'll stick a button on you. Okay, we won't stick a button on you. Uber is going crazy. I'm not even using Uber. Probably just delete it, but we'll get rid of this instead. So there's all that. Should fix compile errors. Right. So that's done now. Jump back up here, grab our button and slap that on there. And then final piece, let's grab our, where's our player? Let's grab our hand, and we want to, currently it was just grabbing the window. We want to grab that new base object. Grab that. Right. Cool, and that should be everything we need. So, should be able to walk up to the button and get a message that we pressed it. I hope. Guess we'll find out. Once Unity, there we go. Let's see if we can't beat that sun this time. Stairs are much nicer now. Right. Button. And we get a pressed button. So you can press that, so that's good. So now let's make something to store this radiation. We'll just have it be a classic timer. It'll just count up, and then pressing that button will count it all the way back down to 0. So radiation holder. All of my names are bad today. Give this a basic float of radiation per second and radiation. Sure. So we'll just increment our radiation by the radiation per second times the delta time. So super simple. And we can actually just stick that right on the button because it doesn't really matter where it's going to go. Come on. There we go. So we'll give it 1 per second. Okay. So that should count up over time, and then we'll see where we get. Right, so you can see it's counting up slowly, but it's counting up. Now we need a way to reset it, so we need the button to reset the radiation. Okay, easy. Button. Where'd you go? Oh, geez. Let's stick a copy of our radiation holder on our button. Yeah. Expose that. Radiation amount equals 0. Oops, we can't do that. Radiation equals, oops, why is it? Come on, ReSharper. And we'll change this to something meaningful. There. Cool. So next up, connect the two. Easy. All right. So let's take our interactor, have it interact with that, and then we should be able to run up to that button and reset the radiation by pressing it, I guess. Yeah. So let's run up there, press button, reset radiation, move on with our lives, do something more interesting. Done. See? So, now we need some way for critical mass. So let's jump back over to our radiation holder. Public float max radiation. Default this to 100 because why not? Radiation. So let's stick a check in here. Radiation is greater than the max. First we'll clamp the radiation to the max, and then we will... You are dead. Okay. So what I just did is made it so it'll kill you after 100 seconds. We're gonna bump that up, make sure it works, and then kick it back down so the player can not die instantly. So radiation per second, let's make that 20. So you should die in 5 seconds. We'll see what happens. So in Unity's log, we should see a message pop up that the player's dying after right now. Yep. So that kills the player. Well, it will. But right now, it's at least alerting us that it's happening. So now that we get back to here, now we need to come up with some fun way to not kill the player. Don't know how we're going to do that. Kind of been struggling with that. Didn't think of anything smart, so gonna make it up. But I mean, obviously this is outside and you die if you go outside, so we don't want that to just kill the player instantly. So I think we're gonna do some sort of shield or something. Don't know how though. Figure that out. Actually, let's stick a second button in here and give that a shield. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually change this up. I'm actually going to use Unity's messaging system. Reset event. I guess we're already using Unity's messaging. Well, we're not really, but yeah. Mono behavior. Okay. Basic thing. Take this, copy pretty much what we had. Click radiation holder, radiation holder. But we'll stick this in a no, I don't like this. I'm just going to rename this to something better. Radiation reset button. So what I'm planning is there's going to be 2 buttons. One seemed like a bad idea, otherwise you die, and I've got buttons implemented, so let's reuse that. So this, got to change the class now or Unity gets really mad at me. Come on, there we go. Button, oops, what'd I call it? Button radiation reset. So that should fix Unity's anger towards... Did I not? Okay. Yeah, you can go away. Not gonna use you. So, yeah. Reset radiation button. I actually already have a shield implemented, so we're just going to use that. take you, bring you over here, drop you down here. Probably not in the floor. Yeah. There's good. Radiation shield. Sure. Save you. Ta-da. And we're gonna take, where'd you go? There. Radiation shield button. Do that. Base interactable. Override our interact again. And if I can remember the name, that'd be handy. Exposure field. Yes. Okay, so the exposure field makes everything blue and prevents radiation damage from occurring. Eventually, the idea is that that's going to overheat, and if you let it overheat, then it has to cool completely down. If you turn it off before it overheats, then you can turn it back on at any time. It's fairly obvious when it's on, you'll see. Can test it quick. First, let's actually attach it. That'd be important. Move view. Radiation shield button. Cool. Apply the prefab and test. Stream configuration quality acceptable. That's not good. We want great. Guess it's not. So this should make things blue. It does not. Let's just check. I know I'm dead, but let's... Why isn't that working? Oh, this is gonna be fun. Did I take that out? I know I was planning on turning this off. There's the problem. So take that out for testing purposes, I guess is why that was there. And now everything should be good. Let's see what happens once Unity compiles again. Story of my life. So I'm using ProBuilder. Pretty much built the entire building, and then I have, I forget the name of it, but I'm using something for breaking all the assets. So actually calculating all of the fragmentation and actually handling pulling everything apart. Everything else is custom built. So, well, besides like the cinematic effects, those are all Unity image effects, and then I also have Scion. So that's on top of everything. So that's what's getting pretty much everything. So all the effects, that's all that's all Unity's stuff. They seem to work pretty well, and they seem fast. I don't know. I use pretty much all of them, which is probably more than I should, but whatever. So you can see it turned everything blue. So right, I am using Rewired as well. Sorry, I totally missed that. Rewired is awesome, by the way. Let's check that quick. So yeah, rewired for inputs. For this project, it's probably overkill because I don't even let you rebind controls, but I just prefer it. No real reason. It's just nice, especially when you need rebinding controls in game, because I don't think Unity allows that. So it's called, let's see if I can find the name of it, Fracturing and Destruction Tool by Ultimate Game Tools. So this is actually the first time I've used this. I have a few destruction things, and this seemed like the best. The other ones were either really slow or just didn't work as well, or required you to actually go and cut the mesh yourself. And I don't have that kind of time, obviously, so not using that. So our button's working though. So I'll move on with that. If you have any other questions, shoot them at me, and I'll see what I can do. Yeah. So we have a shield. We have radiation. Let's make the shield overheat. Another script, I guess. Also, B-spin. Is the stream actually looking all right? I can't really tell from my end. So if there's any problems, I won't know unless somebody says. So yeah, if there's anything you would like improved audio or video or whatever, let me know. We are going to, it's actually new folder again. Radiation, let's make it, this is going to be another super simple script. Overheat. Yeah, I'll get to the destruction in a second, but I agree, it isn't cheap. I'd only get it if you need it. As long as it's looking good, the video. If it's not looking good, then whatever. But I can try to fix things quick if it's quick. So well, we actually don't need to check if it's enabled or disabled. We've already got a static variable for that. Float heat time, heat per second, and we'll expose heat as well. So if our, what did I call it, exposure field is enabled, then we want the heat to increase by heat per second. Otherwise, we want it to decrease by something cooldown per second. Sounds like something from League of Legends. Okay, good. So at least you can read the stuff. I haven't blown any of the text up from what I normally use, so you can read it. That's what I'm looking for. Heat, cooldown per second, cool. Can clamp that, but we won't worry about it for now. Just want to make sure it works. And once Unity compiles, we can do that. I'll stick in a little bit extra this time so you can see things blow up. Takes a few seconds, but it looks pretty cool, especially with all the effects and the God rays and everything. Well, and the bloom helps a lot. But pretty much this entire building will fall apart. Some of the walls, especially the outer walls, don't, because that was just too much, both for processing and for everything else. So this wall should cave in after 20 seconds or so. And if it doesn't, then something's up. But this wall is the first to go, and then those windows, and then it kind of goes over during the day. So you can see it breaking here. That probably looked terrible because probably buffering issues, but whatever. That's what it looks like. Play the game. then you'll see it break in real time. It looks better that way. We can enable that, and didn't turn these up, so there's that. I also totally did not do this right. So always remember timing stuff. It has to be right. So that seems to work. We'll pretend like that fixed it. I don't really want to test it again, waste everybody's time, particularly mine. I've got 9 hours to finish this thing. Heat per second, let's change that to what's a good number? 3.3. So that should give you 30 seconds if you go up to 100. And then counting down, we'll just do the same thing. So then let's clamp this for, yeah, everybody's sake. Heat equal, well, we can't actually do this because we want to see if it's over 100. Then heat equals 100, and it will overheated equals 1, true, not C. Heated equals false. Okay, so there's that. And then exposure field. Well, actually, we'll take this, delete this. So if the heat is less than 0, what am I doing? If the heat is less than 0, then heat equals 0. Cool. So there's that, and overheated equals false. Then final thing, if it's overheated, we want to turn off the exposure field. Yeah, all right, I will see you. Play the game when it comes out, or not. I don't really care, but, well, I do care. I shouldn't say that, but see ya. Thanks for watching. So we're going to turn off the exposure field if it's overheated, and that will just keep turning it off and off and off and off. This is a terrible way to do this, but eh. Actually, let's bump up the heat generation a bit so we can actually overheat this thing. So it should overheat pretty much instantly now. So yeah, almost instantly. Just a little flicker of blue. So that seems to be working. Turn that on. You get 30 seconds to go vent the radiation and get back before everything burns you alive. That seems like enough time. Actually kind of curious if I could make it throw a shield up, like an actual shield, instead of just preventing all damage. Nah, we won't do that. Right. So let's actually play this for a little bit longer this time and make sure everything's appears to be working. Let's toggle it back over to our radiation meter. And right, our radiation holder should be decreasing. Well, actually, no, it shouldn't. Sorry, I'm totally screwed up. It's been a long few days. So that does that. One thing I'm noticing, our radiation is counting up even when we shouldn't be getting any. So we're going to turn that off. eventually. Come on. All right. If our exposure field is enabled, or not enabled actually, then we want to turn things off, or at least not have them gather radiation. So that should give you at least a little bit of extra time. So you could wait till it gets to 99 and then stop everything, run up here, turn that off, and then continue. So that should be good. We will give this 30 seconds is probably too short. 3.33 divided by 2. I should know this. 1.6. Anyway. Math. Right. So that's heating up, should take 60 seconds, which means since the game takes 5 minutes, you should have to do this 4 or 5 times. Well, actually probably more than that. But obviously it's easy right now because you're in shade. Kind of designed it like this so beginners can kind of forget about this switch down here, and everything will still work until later in the game. So this only becomes important later. So if I turn that on right now, I should be able to run up here, woo, and toggle things off. The stream is making me lag a bit, but oh well. So let's do that. Jump down and go through here. And turn that off. Shoot. How high did it get? I have no idea. Probably pretty high considering it was in the 90s after toggling it off. So let's make the player faster or make this heat up faster or slower. Or move things around. I could move it closer. I don't know. I kind of like the journey because then there's some distance between things. Yeah, let's jump that down to, that's probably too long. So if we take 100 divided by 45, 2.2. So 20 seconds now instead of 15. Was it 15? Wasn't 15. I'm starting to think my math is wrong. No, yeah, it was 30, sorry, and now it's 45. So let's turn this on, do our dash up here. I'm gonna actually try to do it right this time and not take the shortcut through the door. Reset that, and all the way around, down and through here. That's taking too short now. So, yeah, let's bump up the heat again back to normal, and also double this. So now it cools down in 15 seconds. I think that's 15. 100 divided by 6.6. About 15, I think. And let's make sure it's doable, as long as you know what you're doing, or kind of have a small idea of what you're doing. Get here, release that, jump down, and get back with about 10 seconds to spare. And then it will cool down-ish. And we already have 20 radiation. Huh. So you're pretty much going to be running back and forth constantly. I'm not sure that's what I want. That's already broken. Huh. Yeah, I think that's good. I think we'll keep it. So next step, actually display this to the player. I'm actually kind of thinking let's do like overlays, and so it just kind of shows through stuff, but it also kind of shows you where the stuff you need to hit is. So you kind of have a timer here and then a radiation count floating above both of those. And that way you can actually see where they are. So people starting don't just totally get lost. So to do that, I think we may need a second camera, but let's get started with just a really quick billboard implementation. So we're going to throw a canvas on you. And we want you in world space on it doesn't really matter actually. Well, no, there's no event, so I don't think this matters what event camera I'm using, but we're gonna use that. Stick that there and stick it one above. I always get screwed up with these because they're way bigger than I need them. 0.001, too small. Well, almost. So there's that. Oops. Kick it over to the center of the button and there. So that should be centered. We'll kick it one above so it kind of floats up like that. Yeah, that should work. Grab this. For now, I think we can use just text. A. Sure, that's as good as any letter. 72 point font. Why not? And we can just blow it up. Boom. So we have a centered A, I guess. Why not? So I don't, yep, you can't see that yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick a second camera into the scene. And that one's only gonna render these text objects. And that's gonna go on top of everything else. So where's our player again? I always lose him. We can actually just stick a second camera there. In there, we don't want yeah, I think this is right. It's been a while since I've done this. Only want to draw the UI. We'll turn the UI off for this guy. And depth. Which one is first? Larger depth is drawn on top. So we want this one to have 1 and this one to have -1. So it was already great. HDR, why not? And without any other changes, it should work. It should be sideways, but it should work. Maybe. Doesn't appear to be working. Unless I did something wrong, which is very possible. Nope, still there. So I'm guessing I forgot to switch this layer of the text over to our UI layer. So should be able to do that, and then it should work. Ish. Yep, that's what was wrong. So change this. It's now on the UI layer. We should be able to see an A through the scene. Once Unity compiles, there we go. And we can kind of see an A. I'm gonna have to blow that up to be bigger and then shrink it down as it gets further away. But that can come later. First, let's make it actually face you. So we'll take this. Actually, let's create another folder. This UI. Unity is being particularly slow today. Oops. Reload that. Billboard. We need a target transform for this, and then we'll just angle it at it all the time. So it'll always face the camera. Transform, target, sure. And actually, I don't even think we need this. Let's actually just try this first. This transform rotation equals look rotation. We want it to look at camera.main.transform forward. But we want it to look negative. So the way the camera's looking, we want it to look the exact opposite way, if that makes sense. So this should look right back at us, I think. One way to find out. Save our prefab. Preferably not close. I don't know what Unity's thinking. Okay, so that's good. Come on. And now there's 2 audio listeners because I have 2 cameras, but as I move, this A should follow me. And it appears to. Cool. So there's that. I can touch up the look of it a little bit later. It doesn't have any of the image effects applied from the original camera on it, so it looks a little bit bland compared to everything else. But we can fix that later once everything else is actually working. For now, let's actually just get this to actually show what we want, which is going to be, that's a good question. Circle? We can do a circle. Let's open up Photoshop. And we're going to delete this text object actually, because I don't want that. And then once this is open, we're going to create a little ring, and that's going to be our indicator. And then Unity already has things to slice that and actually display like a little circular progress bar, which is what I'm going for. So make this, doesn't need to be that big. Get rid of our background. Come on. Oh. Okay, there. Let's grab an ellipse, throw it in. And it keeps remembering all my old settings, which is exceedingly annoying. Get rid of that, make it black. Well, do that. Inner, where's stroke? There. Inside, and we want this to be 64. How's that look? Too thin, probably. 96. Sure, that works for me. Is that, and then I need to make that black. Or not black, it's already black. I need to make that white. And this way I'll be able to color it inside of Unity instead of having two different ones for the two different shaders I'm using. Wrong project. Jump in here and save it somewhere. It'll go in here, I guess. Oops. Sure. And then there's our ring. Make it transparent. There we go. And jump inside of our canvas. Well, actually, we want to make this work with our UI. So we'll take that, make it a unit, and shove it in there. Cool. So there's that. That's actually still wrong, but we'll get to that. We wanted to use an image. Oh, this is gonna show off all of my lack of skill with Unity's UI. I haven't used it in ages. What did I want? Raw image. I think I wanted image. I'm pretty sure. I'm just doing this wrong. Yeah, there we go. Filled radial 360. So this will just kind of do this thing. If that makes any sense. That probably made no sense at all. That's fine. So as you fill, or as the radiation generates, this will fill up. And we can color it whatever color we want. We'll leave it white for now. So we've got that. Now let's actually bind it quick and then test it, make sure everything's working, and then move on to the other one. So radiation display. Sure. It's no worse than the rest of the names I've used today. Radiation holder. Gonna get all of these mixed up. Sure. And then we also want to point it at the image. Normally I'd do something fancier to make this work better, but honestly it's a game jam game. So let's get it done and then make it nice later. UI.image, yeah, image.fillAmount equals holder dot radiation divided by holder dot max radiation. Okay, so there's that, and that should actually just work. I'm assuming it's going to work. Well, I guess we'll find out. Okay. Come on. There we go. So we'll take this image, plug that in, or not. There. And take that, plug that in. And now it should all be bound together. So we should be able to see this build up over time. Come on, here we go. And yes, ish. So it's going the other direction than what I thought it would go. Not entirely sure why. Probably because I got my directions screwed up. But you get the idea. Fills up. Then we're, yeah, and that's it. I can touch that up if I really want to, but honestly, not going to. Looks good enough to me. Maybe a recolor, but other than that, I think that's what we're gonna go with. So let's copy this and bring it over to the other one. To negative 0.25, and it should be good ish. Yeah. And now we need a heat display. Yeah. So drop you. Building again, sorry. Throw the heat display on there. And I'm actually just going to copy. Was going to just copy this. And then change what I need to. If this was a normal project, I'd probably work out some way so that I could use both of these as the same thing, but it's not. So we're gonna do the fast way and not the right way. So don't do this. There's my actual advice. Radiation overheat. Holder dot heat. I think we decided it was going up to 100, so I can actually do divided by 100. And then we can make this one, let's make it orangey. Sure, orangey. And then the other one we'll make green, right? Cliche radiation, Hulk. I'd say Spider-Man, but it's not anything related to Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a spider, anyway. What am I talking about? All right. That is very evil green. Let's go with something a little bit less bad, I guess. How's that look? That should be good. So we've got that. I might stick a dot in the center of this ring so that you can actually find it when it's not on. That's wrong. One sec. And that's why. So forgot to bind anything. So once Unity cleans itself up a bit, we can fix that. And then this one should actually start off with, it should always be empty. There shouldn't be anything in there. Right, so there's that. Did I really? No, I didn't. Okay. So grab another one of you. Put you there. 196. 196. I thought that was wrong. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I can just done. Do that, and we'll disable that. So now we can just save this. Bring inner dot. Another one of those things I wouldn't normally do. There's a lot of unused space in there. I could actually just either shrink the image or make that, I don't know, bigger. But for now, it works. Where was it? Ring. Guess I'm missing it. Did I? Yes. Okay. Oh, I see. Forgot to switch it over to a sprite. So drop that there, move that, make this a simple image. So there we go. That's that. Pretty much all I wanted to do there. That color is good. And then do the same thing for this. Drop that, simple, and remove that. Final thing, apply prefabs, because I don't know why I'm using prefabs, honestly. I've only got one of each of them, but that's just mostly habit. Oh. Okay, so we can see radiation is building up. Light's coming in. Looks evil. They're fairly easy to see, honestly. I think next step is add some bloom. And then they should be good. The trick here is going to be making them not overly bright. I don't really want them to just overpower everything. But at the same time, I want them to kind of merge with everything else. So jump back up to our UI camera. And I think that should work. Pretty sure that's all I need. I'm actually using Scion's bloom for everything else, but we'll see if this works. I have a feeling that using Scion for this would just be overkill. So let's see if I can find a way to make this look good without... Oh, I see what's happening. So it's actually applying it to both of them. I forgot that happened. So looks like we may either have 2 iterations of bloom against the original scene, or I guess just 1 or none. What are you? Why are you there? Huh, that's weird. Oh, I was in a wall. Okay. Ignore me, I'm being crazy. So, For this, I think actually what I could do is I could kick all of the image effects over to this second camera, and then everything should just work. So the only thing that would still be here is this hand, but all of these would kick, well, most of these, this and this. Let's actually do that and see what happens. So if I kick both of those over there, I'll have two passes like I normally did, but a lot of like the ambient occlusion and the sun shafts and stuff like that, that will happen just to the first version. Whoa, where am I looking? It's flipping the camera for some reason. That's new. That's very, very new. Why is it doing that? Huh. One sec. I guess we're gonna go on a troubleshooting round quick. I guess the easy way, just enable each effect, see what happens, and then disable them again. So that's obviously not the issue. That is for some reason. Huh. I don't know what's going on there. But apparently whatever I did, don't do that. I don't really have time to figure out what it is, so I guess we're not doing that. One thing that may be helpful is actually some messages, so you can see what each of these things do. Because I'm not gonna have much time to actually describe, like write a tutorial or anything to describe what these do. So some way to actually tell the user, maybe text or something. I'll have to think about that. Maybe a sign on the wall. I've got plenty of space on near both of them. So we'll move both of those back over, I guess. Kick that up. Why does moving scripts but not break the prefabs, but moving them up and down inside of something does? I don't understand. Whatever. Here's all that. Reactor. Okay, so that's all good. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go with signs. It's probably not the most intuitive way of doing it, but it's the fastest. Create a new canvas. We'll stick that over here. You are gigantic again. 0. I'm sure I'm doing this wrong. It's been way too long since I've done UI work with Unity. Lately I've been doing a lot of apps and stuff like that, so I haven't really touched Unity in ages, honestly. Where'd you go? There it is. So sign, oops, no, a sign with text. Radiation shield. Sure, that's a good starting place, I guess. Make it huge. Alright, wrong direction, flip it, and so far I've been making all the text glow. I don't really know why, but it's what the clock does. So if I make it white, it will glow with the bloom of everything else. So we're just gonna stick that not in the wall, but almost in the wall. Not in the wall, but almost in the wall. There. You don't want that part of the UI layer though. You want it just like that. That must look beautiful. So there's this other sign. Drop it down a bit. Sure. And this will be our radiation release. Sure. Let's see how this looks. Well, that didn't work at all. I'm guessing I forgot to flip the layers of something. It shouldn't be drawing the text through the walls. That's bad. We definitely don't want that. Right, let's see if that fixed it. It appears to fixed it, so that is very bright. So if we boop that, I should probably make it blue if I'm gonna make it turn everything blue. I should probably just make it blue. All right. So if I let this overheat, I'm kind of curious if I'll have enough time to stop it. It looks like the answer to that is yes. Because remember, it doesn't charge while the shield is on. Okay, so that seems to be working as intended, and the signs are obvious. What else do we need to do? Break more stuff? It's been pretty much the theme of this jam for me, breaking things. Yeah, I think those buttons are good. I'll need to tweak them obviously to make it less monotonous, I guess. Something's gonna have to happen. Maybe the shield will actually just only raise something around this little platform. The problem I've had is that when this wall gives out, the stairs become pretty much unclimbable. So I need something to actually disable everything in this area. The rest of the stuff can probably be fine, but you need a way up the stairs. So, huh. Actually, let's play through a full game, see where we are. Death isn't isn't in yet for either of the scenarios that kill you, but all the mechanics, I think, all the mechanics are there. So blinds rattle when they're exposed, and then they burst open after like 20 seconds. It's a very slow-paced game. I had it a lot faster earlier, and it wasn't as fun, mostly because there's a lot of openings. Like especially in rooms like this, there's a lot of openings. 7, well 8 if you count the lack of ceiling, but because of all of that, it makes it very obvious or very difficult. So you can close these blinds. I'll probably need an indicator there that actually shows that you can close them. Probably reuse the circles we have there, and I've already lost. So let's make the indicator for you can use this. Stick it on the UI camera because it's going to be on that layer. Screen space, camera, U. Sure. So there's that. Create a new object, call it the claw. I've kind of been envisioning what this is. It's going to be weird, like alien hand. Not for any reason, not that you're an alien, just because it looks cool. So we're actually going to do pretty much the same thing we did last time for the other rings, and this one's just going to look a little bit different. There's not going to be any gap between the ring and then the inner dot. So take an image, throw that on there, make it radial. So we've got a palm, and then 3 fingers. Finger 1. Actually, I think, no. Yeah, this is a thing, I think. Oh, okay. I thought that used to number things. I guess it doesn't do that anymore. So the first 2, drag them up there, and then make them smaller. So this one's going to be, well, that didn't work. First one's going to be over that way. Second one's going to be over that way. And the third one, we're just going to have off to the side. Sure, that seems to work. Why? I thought I did the same thing for you. Oh. Let's actually make these all equidistant apart-ish. There. And put this on our UI layer, so this will show through just like all the other UI stuff. And then we need to stick inside of each of these. There's going to be another image with this. I've got to blow it up a bit just because of all the scaling I have from the image. And Move that over there. I could have done this before actually placing these. This would have been so much easier. Right. So there's our claw. That looks super friendly, actually. I guess that's kind of the theme of this. More tension than jump scares, but that was sort of what I was going for. Not really sure if it classifies as horror. What I was picturing was scarier than this, and it didn't really turn out. Anyway, let's animate this because yeah, everything needs animations. Got totally lost there. Sorry. The claw. Go in here, switch over to our animations, create a new one. We want two, so well, three actually. The first one is going to be just the empty, so we'll call it the idle animation. And that's going to be, these are going to be totally empty. So each of those are gone. And then these are all going to be scaled way down. Like that. Why are some of these still showing up? I must have missed them. Okay, so was it not? Oh, cool, it wasn't recording. Yeah, easiest way is probably just undo. Cool. Right. Actually record this time. Bring that down. And shrink that. Bring you down. Shrink. Do that. And shrink again. This must be super fun to watch. Sorry, it's best I've got. So there's that. Why are some of these not showing up? That's kind of weird. Oh, it must not like. Finger 2 and finger 3. So now that I've totally broken everything again, let's undo all of that a third time. Okay, so we actually got everything that time. And it's all there. Cool. Next, we need another animation for actually animating the thing. So this will play when you get into range of actually playing anything. So when things become interactable, it will go here and then it will go to the final, well, it will actually just stop here. So it will play it once and then end. So what we're going to do is we're going to grow first the palm. So it will start from 0 and then grow. And then each of the fingers is going to grow individually. That's the wrong one. There. So we'll go from here up to full. Take the other one, do the same thing. And then with the thumb, again, we're just gonna zoop. Okay. I guess that kind of works. Doesn't need, I'm not being too particular here. It doesn't really matter all that much how well it looks, but I kind of care. It's my game after all. There. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. So we're going from those filling out, and then after they fill, we want to also grow in the inside. So the inside is going to come from empty, and then in the same amount of time that it took to grow the fingers, we want to grow that in. So this is the wrong one again. Zeros up to 2. From here, 0 to 2. And then final one, 0 to 2. And then the only thing we have to fix is those are starting full. And it should look like that. Yeah, that's what we wanted. Okay. So now that we have that going for us, we can make these transitions. So when things become interactable, it plays that, and then when they stop, it goes away. Here, I don't want that one to loop, so it'll play once, and then it will rest. It'll rest here until you can't interact, and then it'll go away. Let's kick you down. Yeah, there works. Actually, it'll be easier if we stick it on the bottom. And then grow it from the bottom instead of doing anything fancy. This will prevent it from going off the screen if you have a weird screen resolution or aspect ratio or whatever. So it should always show up instead of getting cut off or anything silly. Let's see what happens. Right, so it's sitting idle, oops. And then if I kick it on, nothing happens. Might be missing something. I am certainly missing something, because that should have worked. So, let's figure out what's going on. That's not very helpful, is it? Huh. Oh, I bet that was the issue. So, yep. Okay. My bad. I should know. Oh, whatever. It's fixed now. That looks huge. Let's shrink it down. There. All right. So we've got that. And it goes, and then it undoes itself. And then it comes, and then it undoes itself. Cool. So that seems to be working. Let's actually make it work, though. So the way this is working is my hand, if I can find it, is actually setting a variable and saying, hey, I found something I can hit. Here it is. Right now I'm not actually using this. This was more for debugging, but I'm actually going to just take it because why not? And then kind of iterate on that. So bool can interact was false. So, well, this can actually just, we don't need any of this. Let's make this a property. Get return hit indicator is not null. Cool. Yeah, that's what we want. And then we need this guy to have a script that's gonna grab that value and set it this interactable variable of the animator, and then work with that. So UI claw controller. Animator. And we want to set this bool of interactable. I believe that's what I called it. I'll have to remember, or look it up rather. But interactor hand. So we want to set the hand that can interact to the interactable variable. Yeah, that's what I called it. Good. Right, so we'll take the claw controller. There. And throw this on there. And where's the hand? There it is. Throw that on there. So that hand should pop up now every time we can interact with anything. That's the plan, at least. One other thing I'm noticing, it's complaining because I have these on my second camera. We don't need those, so they're gone. Right. Let's make sure this hand works. Some sort of null reference exception. And there it goes. Cool. So the hand works. I think that's all I want to do with that. Yeah. Cool. Right. What else? I think next up we actually make it lose, and then I can jump over to the menu and get that working. And then after that I'll probably hop over to audio and turn off the stream, because audio is just going to be me looking up a bunch of sounds or making them or something, and that's going to be a long time, and it's not going to be very interesting. Not sure if this is interesting, but that's going to be less interesting than this. So right, so we have death is next. Okay, easiest way is probably just, actually I already have this character health and the bloom effector, and so this effector is just making it very bloomy whenever you get exposed to light. It increases the bloom you're seeing from the already absurd levels it's at to pretty much the max. So pretty much everything just becomes white at that point, and you kind of just white out. And damage per second is adjustable, so you take 200 damage per second if you're fully exposed in sunlight. So if a window breaks or something, you're probably not fully exposed, you're probably about half exposed, so you've got about a second to get out of there. If you just like run outside, it'll take like half a second before you just burn up. And then the second lose condition is this radiation thing we have again. So if that goes all the way up, the same thing is going to happen. You're just going to white out and die. So what we can do, I think, well, actually, if the radiation gets too high, let's just start dealing damage to the player. I think that's probably better. And then it makes everything else easier, and theoretically then the player doesn't just feel like, oh, some magical number hit some magical value and then I lost. Hopefully this is a little bit more smooth, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So yeah. So the next thing we want to do, if our radiation is something is greater, well, actually, we want to use another approximately. So radiation dot radiation is equal to the radiation dot max. And this just makes sure floating point numbers, you don't get anything weird where they're almost the same, but they're not quite the same because floats are weird. So if it's higher than damage per second times time dot delta time, yeah, I think that's what we want. Health equals the max of that. And actually, I'm going to just clamp it here. There's no reason to do all of these min-max functions all over the place. especially when it's just between 0 and 100. So that should fix that. Right. I'm actually gonna stick a flag in. Well, yeah, I'm gonna stick a flag in here. Forced exposure equals false. So if this is true, we want to force exposure pretty much equals true. And so this is testing, this is what's testing if you're exposed to light or not. What I want to make it do is if you're exposed to light or the radiation is too high, then you just get passive exposure and slowly disintegrate, I guess. So there's that. So if we're not exposed, if we're not forced exposed or whatever, we'll regenerate slowly over time. Otherwise, we'll take damage. It'll be a lot of damage theoretically. So, especially here, because you'll take this and then you will take however much you're exposed. But this could be 0 theoretically. So, anyway, you'll take damage. That's what we care about. What is this? Can ignore that because I already fixed that. Alright, so we get this radiation thingamajig. And we need to hook that up. It's probably easier actually if we just find it. Find object of type radiation holder. Okay. So that'll just automatically find the only radiation holder. Why did I call it a radiation holder? Anyway, it'll find the only one and set it. That way I don't need to go and make sure everything stays connected. And it keeps things from getting super brittle, so I can actually hopefully go back and change at least a little bit of something without breaking everything. Yeah. Let's compile and see where we're at. I am dead. Why am I dead? Something's going on. Something bad. I think I may have screwed up my logic. That doesn't surprise me. So if the radiation and the max radiation are about the same, forced exposure. Otherwise, if you're not forced exposed, do that and do that. Huh. Why is this not working? Hold on. So something here is going horribly wrong. And I don't know what. Radiation per second. Huh. Why is it thinking that we're overexposed when we're not? This is a good question, one I don't have an answer to. Because it's not, unless maybe there's two. Do I have two? Well, that would suck. I'd have to actually go find it. But that's my guess, is whatever's triggering this, not this, whatever's triggering that isn't this. It's some other one. And it's probably like here or something. Either way, it's wrong and it needs to go away. Come on. There we go. Ah, there's the problem. Forgot to delete it off the other button. Should have probably figured that out sooner. I thought I already did that, but I guess not. So now this should work. Okay. So, well, I guess because of that bug, we now know it works. So, we knew it was killing me, and we knew it was affecting everything that normal health would. So that's good. It appears to be working. I'm liking these dots less and less. So I think we may go for some icon or something like that. So let's kick open a new window in our browser. Jump over here and here. Come on. Radiation. Here we go. We'll grab this. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Grab this and make it big. Make it white and kick it all over to there. And I'll pick those up later. Then the other one, the shield. That almost works. Let's use this. Okay. Grab that. And throw both of those into a folder somewhere. Here's good. And where'd the other one go? Okay. So there's both of those new icons. Actually, forgot. We can't actually do that because of the contest rules say you have to do all your own art. So we can't actually use those regardless of how cool they look. So we're gonna have to come up with our own. So we can either stick with that or do a pixelated thingamajig. I guess we'll stick with these for now. I don't really have time to go through and design my own fancy radiation icon. It wouldn't be that hard, but I've got 6-ish hours, so it seems like a lot of time to spend for that. Since there's not a quick fix, what else do we need? We've got player almost dead. Yeah, let's kill the player for real. So scripts UI, no. Okay. Character. The death controller. I think that's going to be self-explanatory. Cool. Take the character's health, and if health is less than or equal to 0, or we're going to do an or here because it's a float. So it's possible that you could be at like 0.0000001% health. And when that happens, we just want you dead. Otherwise, you could just never die. And that would be weird, and I don't want to deal with that. So this just double checks quick if you get just above 0, but pretty much 0. When that happens, I totally forget how to do this. It's like application dot load level scene manager. Okay, scene manager dot load scene. We're just gonna reload the same scene for now. Current. Well, I guess we'll just 0. So this will kick you all the way back to the start of the game. Right now, my main menu isn't actually set up. So this will just kick you back to this, to the start of this level. So it should just restart it. At least that's the plan. All right. So let's screw around for a bit and then get dead. Or we can just walk outside. That's always fun. I forgot to attach the script. That's important. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. Okay. Where'd you go? Come on. There we go. Player. Death controller. Grab the health. Put that on there, and then save the player. Okay. This should actually work now. Right. So let's run out here and run outside again. We'll go the other way. Not that it makes any difference, but yeah. And then it freezes. Cool. So that took ages. Gonna have to figure out a better way to do that. I mean, it'll kick you back. It'll be kicking you back to a menu screen, so hopefully it'll be less of a pain. But I wouldn't expect it to take. I'm running this on an SSD, so it shouldn't take 5 seconds or whatever it's taking right now to load the scene. I was expecting maybe half a second, a second. So this is bad. Let's fix that. Come on. So, actually, one thing you may note, or may have noticed, is it's not totally whiting out the screen. So we're going to fix both of those things. First, we're going to actually send it back to a menu screen. Second, we're going to actually white out the full screen. So to white things out, we want this guy. We'll just take an image, an empty image. I don't know if this works. Guess there's one way to find out. Yes, it does. Okay. So we want this to fill everything. Like that. And by default, we want it to be totally transparent. So you're not going to see this until you need to. And that means we're going to have another controller, a whiteout controller. My names are getting progressively worse and worse and worse over time. This is sad. So the whiteout controller is going to be based off of the thing that does the bloom, character health bloom effector. See, that was actually a decent name-ish. Better than whiteout controller. So, where is it? There's our whiteout controller. We're gonna take this guy, the bloom effector, and copy that stuff over. And then we're gonna take the image instead. UI.unity, okay. Unity 3D dot Unity engine, sorry. Image. Okay. So we want to take the image and make it big. So image dot crossfade color, and we're going to fade between the, that's wrong, sorry. Image.color equals color.lerp. We're going to go from the old or original color to transparent, clear. So first off, we need to actually save our original color. Original color. That's just going to be whatever the color of the image is. Actually, I don't need this. I can just go from white to clear. Well, actually, the opposite of that. We want to go from clear to white. So, sorry, I was right the first time. So what this is going to do is it's going to look at the health we currently have and then convert that so it's between 0 and 1, 1 being full health and 0 being dead. So it's going to fade down to totally white from transparent. We want to throw that onto our player. Come on, there we go. And then take our whiteout thingamajig. Edit this so it goes from 0 to that. Give it a decent-ish looking curve. And then take the health. And that should be good. So now it should fade out to a totally white screen. At least that's the idea. Then once that works, I can kick over to the menu and get that working. Yep, that worked well. What's going on? Between white and clear. Go away, PowerShell. No. Cancel. Kind of curious what happened there. I was expecting that to work. Hold on. Huh. Oh, I know what's going on. My curve is backwards. So what this curve is representing is where it is in that lerp function as your health decreases. And so it starts at fully exposed or 0, which would be white. And then it moves as you lose health, it gets more and more transparent, which is precisely what we don't want. We want something like this. So as you lose health, well, like this. So it starts off transparent and will slowly get more and more clear as you lose health. Or more and more white, sorry. So this should fix it. Should fix it. Yep. Okay. And then I should be able to grab this and change it. Or not. Yeah. So I can kill you or not heal you. What's going on? I think I crashed Unity. Hold on. There we go. Huh. That was weird. I'll pretend like that didn't happen. Yeah. So as you lose health, you totally white out. And then it slowly goes away. So it'll get really bloomy and really white, and you won't be able to see anything, and then it'll kick you back to the main menu. Right. So I think that's all I want for this. There's obviously some like sounds and some effects and things like that, but I'm gonna work on those offline and get everything. This is more just kind of the finishing touches, kind of getting things where I want them to be, and then I can actually get things up and running. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the menu scene 0. So if I remember correctly, you should die and it should kick you back to the menu. Yeah, I think that'll work. One way to find out. Run off into the rising sun. Right. I wouldn't expect it to take this long to load the main menu though. I wonder what's going on. Cool. So it kicks you back here to menu. Oops. So here's our menu. Isn't that pretty? I made it last night. It was super quick. I posted on Twitter a little thing of this breaking. So this is our menu. Looks like that. Only thing I've done so far is made it so that you can transition, and that just blooms and then shatters. And that's that. So what we need to do is we need to have play obviously kick you into the game, and then quit is going to obviously quit. First off, I can name these properly. And second off, I don't actually know what the name is. I've been playing with like 6 of them. Nocturne was one, Eclipse was another, Horizon was one. I don't really know what I'm doing. So I guess we'll call it title instead of that. Yeah, we'll leave that for now. So play. The trick here is we don't want our buttons to do things like instantly. We don't want it to instantly go over to playing or instantly quit. We want it to fade out and then quit, or fade out and then play. So there's going to be a little bit of delegation that happens there. So I think everything's going to be handled by this guy, wherever he was. By this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually give this a function. Public void begin transition. And we're going to give it an action, actually. So that'll just allow us to pass in the action we want to happen after we've done whatever it is we want to do. So how this works is pass this in, action. First off, we don't want the person to be able to like click buttons or something while things are happening. So if it's not transition, so if it's not in a transition currently, we can begin a new one. And so that will be transition equals true. And then the delayed action will also just be set. Right. Transition amount equals this. We'll actually clamp that to like 5-ish. Do a min function on this and then 1. So we can't get like crazy high bloom. I don't even think it works if you go above 1. I think it just breaks. So we don't want that. What we do want though is this to go above that. So after we get to if transition amount is greater than 4, we'll say. So after 4 seconds is what that's more or less saying. Then we want to invoke the delayed action. Dot invoke. And then all we need to do is have our play and our quit button. Call this begin transition and pass in whatever action they want to do, and then they'll do it. I think that's straightforward. So play action. I guess we'll call them actions. It kind of aligns with what C# already uses for what we're doing. So we'll attach this, throw that in there. And then we need a new public function that's going to actually handle this transition. But before we do that, we also are going to need a menu transition reference so that we can actually pass whatever it is we're doing. Public void play game. So menu dot begin transition, and we want to do scene manager dot load scene 1. Actually, yeah, that'll be better. And I'm actually going to make it so you can pass in a different scene if you want to. I don't intend intend on using this, but there's only some corners I'm willing to cut. Other ones, like this, it doesn't make sense to skip this. All right, so let's make that call. And where did you go? Oh, it's more UI stuff I don't remember. Oh, it was compiling. That must be what's going on. Yep, okay. So actually, I can take this scene number out of there and put it in here. And we can actually pass it in. So now instead of a play action, it's more of a navigate scenes action or whatever. So if we want to go somewhere else, we just change it. So there's that. And then I'm gonna copy that play action for this quit action. Now some people are probably gonna want to just quit instantly. Too bad. I guess that's what we're doing. So play. And now application dot quit. Yeah. Quit game. Okay. Let's throw that on there. And then we should just be able to call it, and that should be it. Yep. Okay. So now theoretically everything's working. Theoretically. We'll see how true that is in a second here. But if I click play, it doesn't do anything. And that's because I did not assign public menu transition. I didn't assign the menu is what happened. So since it wasn't assigned, what's happening is it's just throwing an error. We don't want that. So once I get this one working, convert to method group. Okay, I'll figure out what that is later. Yeah, so we need to actually take the menu transition and plug that in, or not, there. Ta-da. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I guess that works. It's being super slow. I wonder if this is just the editor, or if this is the game actually being slow. There's a lot of times in Unity where it's just the editor's just being slow, and your game's fine. And this could very well just be that, but it could also be something horrible I've done, because I've done a lot of horrible things writing this. So guess we'll find out later. That'll probably reveal itself after we build. So that's building up. So yeah, the transitions seem to work. Maybe I could drag it out a little bit longer, because if you noticed, it kind of cut out a little bit early there. But let's see if this makes it any nicer. So adding on 2 seconds. A lot of the issue is, since that back wall, all that transition thing does is it just breaks the back wall, which is pretty much constructed exactly the same as all my other walls in the game. Is it breaks this, and then since that's all random, I don't actually know how long that's going to take. So it could take this long, or it could take this long. And so figuring that out is more of just trial and error, I guess. But I'll figure that out before 11 tonight, when I believe the deadline is. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I don't think there's much more I'm gonna get in. I don't really have that much time left. So with those police sirens, if you can hear them, I guess that's it. I will hopefully be releasing this. It'll be out hopefully before the end of the jam, so you guys can kind of test it out a little bit, and maybe I can get some feedback. But we'll see. So thanks for tuning in if you did, and if you didn't, well, you won't see this anyway. So cheers.